And it looks like we are live. Yep, that's what OBS is telling me. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Counterfactual Gaming live stream. Today we are doing everyone's favorite aircraft testing. Well, I say aircraft testing, but of course, stream. Aircraft testing really is only favorite if you have the aircraft designer, but that's okay. I know not everybody has the aircraft designer, but there are a ton of changes coming in the next big expansion that are related to the aircraft designer. I figure we should take a look at it. Last week we were fooling around with tanks and we designed some ridiculous super heavy tanks and some other nonsense. But today, it's all about the aircraft. Now, if you've been paying attention to development in Hearts of Iron 4, you are already aware of certain changes to the tech tree that are coming. We now have armor-piercing bombs. We have different kinds of air-launched torpedoes. Survivability Studies is now a 1939 tech. Like, there's a number of changes in the game. Boy, I can't talk today. What is the impact of those changes going to be? Well, we know they're going to mess with the stats as time goes on, but we should be experimenting with this now to see if we can get a handle on what's going to happen, and if we can break Hearts of Iron 4 now while it is still in summer beta, the developers should have a chance to fix more egregious errors. I found at least 3 different bugs or exploits last stream that was not too bad. But today we're going to see if we can find any bugs, exploits, or just interesting things in the new changes coming to aircraft design. Now, I want to, before we really dig into the meat of things, we need to talk about armor-piercing bombs first of all. Okay. Before the current changes in the summer beta, bomb locks were just one thing. That's it. They just did one thing. You could just put bomb locks on aircraft. Now we have regular bombs, armor-piercing bombs, and heavy bombs. Heavy bombs unlock in 1940. Armor-piercing bombs, if you don't know already, armor-piercing bombs are specifically a version of bomb locks designed to create high amounts of naval attack and low amounts of ground attack. And so let me just hold on here. Let me put some political power in, some XP in, do my research on icon click. So we're gonna grab that. We're gonna grab that. Okay. No, we'll go ahead and grab that engine too while we're at it, and survivability studies, just for funsies. And we will appoint. Do I want to appoint Supermarine right now? No, we won't appoint any designer, just any design company just yet. Let's just take a look at what we've got. Okay, so when we take a look at cast weapons, we now have armor-piercing bomb locks and regular bomb locks. If I throw the regular bomb locks on there, you can see that they do a ground attack of 6 and a naval attack of 1. Throw my armor-piercing bomb locks on there. You can see that I now have a naval attack of 7 and a ground attack of 0 when on naval strike, and a ground attack of 2 when on ground attack. Now, if we go back to regular bomb locks, you can see that their naval attack is much weaker. It's only a naval attack of 3, while armor-piercing bomb locks have a naval attack of 7. They also have better naval targeting than the regular bomb locks do. Actually, I'm wrong. Nope. I'm already wrong today. Not better naval targeting, just better naval attack with the same naval targeting. Now, this means for our purposes that we now have an option to put bombs on a plane that are better at bombing ships. But I want us to. This is something a lot of people already know about, but I want to see if you can grasp the implications. Okay, so I can put one armor-piercing bomb lock there. I can put a second armor-piercing bomb lock there. I can put a third armor-piercing bomb lock there. And yeah, let me just slap on a tier 3 engine, and then we're going to slap on dive brakes, which provides better naval targeting. Okay, we put that on naval strike. You can see that now I have a naval attack of 19. You can see that we have a naval targeting of 11 and an air defense of 15. Okay, what happens if I try to put on light torpedo mountings? Remove the dive brakes. You gotta remove that. It will only let me put one torpedo mount on there. Well, one torpedo mount provides less naval targeting and less overall naval attack. Okay, that means that with the way the game is set up right now, bomb locks, or let me rephrase, armor-piercing bomb locks, when stacked together, can give you significantly more naval attack than the first torpedo, the first air-launched torpedo. Remember, you cannot stack multiple torpedoes on a light airframe. You can stack multiple torpedoes on a large airframe. We're going to do that later, but you can't stack it. So for right now, at the technology where we just have a basic torpedo, armor-piercing bombs seem to be superior. And I don't like naval targeting. There's a whole thing on the wiki about how naval targeting works, but just know that higher numbers are better, and higher numbers ensure that the aircraft are more likely to hit carriers and battleships. So the higher your naval targeting is, the more concentrated those planes will be on the capital ships that you probably want to bomb with your planes. So, okay, that's naval targeting 5. If we go back to the bomb locks. Armor-piercing bomb locks, armor-piercing bomb locks, armor-piercing bomb locks. Let's slap on some dive brakes. And then we go back to naval strike. That's a significant, that's like twice the naval targeting while also increasing the attack, which means that the planes hit harder and are more likely to target capital ships, including carriers. One other thing when we're looking at this that does change the way we would do this. Bomb locks can do naval, if you have armored piercing bomb locks. Naval strike is possible, close air support is possible, and logistic strikes are possible. Not a lot of ground attack, but you got some ground attack. You got logistic strike. Okay, that's fun. But you'll notice port strike isn't on there. So this plane, while it could inflict serious damage on a ship, it can inflict serious damage on a ship, but only via naval strike. If that ship is sitting in port, this plane cannot attack it. Whereas this plane can do naval strikes or port strikes. It can do both. If a ship's in port, torpedo naval bombers can get to it. If it's out at sea, torpedo naval bombers can get to it. Hold on, I need to remove that. There we go. Now it's a legal design. So there's still some balance between the two, but if you were thinking to yourself, I want to put planes on carriers just to inflict maximum damage on ships in naval battles, it's going to look like armor-piercing bombs are the right thing for you, at least at 1940 tech levels. Well, now, let's take a look at improved and advanced air-launched torpedoes, and let's compare their performance on a light airframe to the armor-piercing bomb locks. Excuse me. So we go over here, we've got light, medium, and heavy. If we slap on the medium, Now that's 18 and 9 versus, go back to piercing bomb loss, versus 19 and, no, not that. Ugh. Dive breaks versus 19 and 11. So the AP bomb locks still come out ahead of that medium torpedo. Not by much, but they do come out ahead. They do come out ahead. But again, only on naval strike. You cannot use AP bombs on port strike. If we go to heavy torpedo, I'm doing this wrong. Let's try that again. If we go to heavy torpedo mountings, and we take a look at it, at the most advanced air-launched torpedo, now we have naval attack that's better than the AP bombs. But that requires unlocking this tech down here, which is even further past 1944. That's a significant research investment, even for most like major powers, because you would hopefully have the war over by then. Now, having said all that, when we're thinking about bomb locks versus torpedoes, we should consider whether or not no, wait, scratch all that. We need to also consider whether it makes whether the cost matters. If let's slap on a light torpedo here. Let's put a tier 3 engine. Okay. That's a 29.50 aircraft. If I slap on the AP bomb locks for more oomph and then slap on some dive brakes, the plane costs a little bit more. I think the investment is well worth the extra effort, but it is going to cost you more. Also, we have to think in terms of whether or not certain bugs that I've discovered before are going to be fixed, including plane bombers or carrier bombers not shooting back at carrier fighters, and how range works, where the cheapest carrier navs are the best cost-effective way of obliterating enemy ships. That might change the way we look at this as well. If I go back to doing this, if I put 3 bomb locks on here, it's simply not enough. Weight exceeds thrust. It's way too much. If I go to engine 2, it's not enough. I got to put a tier 3 engine on there. But if I go back to light torpedo, remove all that, remove that, I can go back to a tier 1 engine, and I'm not even close. Yeah, I'm fine. I could even strip this down to a interwar frame. We're going to swap you to the light torpedo mount. And this is also a valid design for naval strikes that only costs me 20. It only costs me 20 production costs to make. So even though the bomb locks are a better way of inflicting damage on enemy ships, if you're cost conscious and you're thinking, well, I've got to build a whole bunch of carrier aircraft, you might say to yourself, no, this is the right answer. I want to go cheap so that I can constantly replace my carrier navs. So I'm going to go with the plane that costs like 30% less. I don't know if that's the best strategy. We'll have to fiddle with that later. But that is a consideration for those who have carrier aircraft. If you're running operations from land, of course, that doesn't apply. That only applies to launching from carriers because of how carrier combat works. Like if I'm Britain here, if I want to put planes here and launch naval strikes into the channel, you're not going to use cheap planes. You're going to use good, solid planes. That is a tasty beverage. Now, let's talk about, You know what? I need to go and grab the range improvements. Let me grab the recon. Okay. Let's talk about large bomb locks. Okay. Large bomb locks are only designed to, they're really only designed to hit ground troops. They're a ground attack weapon. So if I go back over here and say, okay, we got the heavy bomb locks. Okay, one heavy, they do like okay damage against ships. They do 4 compared to regular bomb locks, which just do like 3. So heavy bomb locks, you know, they're not useless against ships. They're just not nearly as good as armor piercing. Heavy bomb locks give me a ground attack of 8 versus regular bomb locks, which give me a ground attack of 6. So we're paying for 2 more ground attack at the cost of 2 more weight, same production cost. That's the comparison. Now this is a 1940 tech, so the heavy bomb locks are something you'd have to work for. You'd have to invest the research in them. If I have, now this is a legal design with this airframe and this engine, but if I wanted to really beef up my game, I'm going to want to grab multiple heavy bomb locks like this, and then put some dive brakes on there. And now we're doing a ground attack of 22 with the dive brakes making our lives easier. That also comes out to a naval attack of 9 with targeting of 11. Again, not as good as armor-piercing bomb locks, but you could certainly push this plane into a naval strike role with those heavy bomb locks if you wanted to. At a ground attack of 22, that's not too bad. I'm going to need to grab some other text, though, because I want to test it against... armor-piercing or anti-tank cannons. So if we go back here, let's say, okay, anti-tank cannon 2, and hold on. Okay, so I put anti-tank cannon 2 on there. Can I put another one on there with the current beta? Yeah, I can put another one on there. And I can go ahead and put the dive brakes on because that will also be effective with anti-tank cannons. And we end up with, oh, nope, that makes it too expensive. Or that makes it too heavy. So you can't put dive brakes on there with those 2 cannons. So with the anti-tank cannons, I can get better ground attack, but at tier 3 engines, the plane is so heavy, I can't slap on armor, I can't slap on dive brakes, I'm not going to be able to, could I even put on drop tanks? Nope, I can't even put drop tanks on. Look at that, it's going to be too heavy. So the bomb locks, heavy bomb locks, dang it, damn this interface. Okay, the heavy bomb locks give us a little more wiggle room in terms of weight and a little bit more ground attack. Okay, that's a change. That is a significant change. Those heavy bomb locks will eventually, I don't know if they render anti-tank cannons obsolete, but it certainly at 1940 techs with tier 3 engines on small airframes. Now we do have the 2 engines. That's going to make the plane way more expensive. Let's put 2 engines on there and see what I can get away with. Anti-tank cannon 1. No. Anti-tank cannon 1. Dive brakes. Okay, could I mount? Okay. This plane is legal. And it does it. It has a ground attack of 31. Okay, so this is still an insane plane, but I want you to notice something. This plane costs 58 to build. This is insanely expensive because it's a 2-engine light airframe. It's a 2-engine light airframe versus a heavy bomb locks plane with a single tier 3 engine versus, hold on, versus 27. It's not. It's basically, if I go the anti-tank cannon route versus the heavy bomb locks route, we end up with a plane that's twice as expensive. It does have more firepower, but it certainly doesn't have twice as much ground attack as this plane does. I wonder if this will be a plane that a lot of people are going to want to use, because why wouldn't you? Now, we're still not done with this though, because in addition, we have other options besides the heavy bomb locks. Heavy bomb locks add 8 ground attack for 6 weight. Bombay adds 8 ground attack for 4 weight, but also allows port strikes. So if we go that route, the plane weighs just as much. No, actually, hold on. Okay. Yeah, it basically weighs the same. I was right, it weighs the same. But it allows for port strikes as an option. It's not very good at port strikes, but it does open up port strikes as a possibility. And it does provide even more ground attack. Well, no, it provides basically the same ground attack, but it cuts the weight down a little bit. Well, no. Wait, is this a bug? Hold on. All right, hold on. Something is weird here. This is why we're doing this, folks. Because if I'm sitting here and I can't figure out how the math works out. Okay, so I mouse over close air support. The interface is telling me I have a weight of 24 and a thrust of 25. So this is a legal design. I can press save. Bomb locks each have a weight of 6 on ground attack with close air support. Okay. So that's 6, 12, 24. And this has no weight. That's just production cost. Okay. So okay, so that addition works fine. If I go back over here and I add a small bomb bay, let me rip this out. Hold on. Let's rip everything out and see what the game is reporting, because something is wrong here. Okay, this tells me that I have. Hold on. We're gonna even. Okay. Stupid interface. Okay, on ground attack, this plane has a weight of 10, because this module adds a weight of 4. Weighs 2. Okay, this is where my math is messed up. The module has a weight of 2 regardless of what mission it's running, but when I swap it onto close air support, it adds 4 to the weight. So it actually has the exact same total weight as a heavy bomb lock. It just looks weird. Because base weight of 2, you can see it there. When on close air support and log strikes, adds 4. When on port strike, it adds 4. That would be a total of 6. If I go to the heavy bomb locks, it just has a weight of 6 on each type of mission. Okay, same weight. Okay, same weight. Ground attack of 24. If I swap this for a small bomb bay, ground attack of 24. Aha. This is why we're. Oh no, I didn't find a bug, but I figured out something about this. You would have to be a fool to just put a bunch of heavy bomb locks on here. What you should do is put on the small bomb bay with 2 sets of bomb locks, because that won't change the aircraft's performance on ground attack, but it will give the aircraft the option of doing port strike, and it will change the aircraft's performance on naval strike. This plane, while labeled a CAS, you can see it says close air support over there, is effectively a multi-role light airframe bomber. Thanks to that small bomb bay, it can do close air support, naval strike, port strike, and log strike. Can't do strategic bombing because that's not a thing that can happen with this airframe. But okay, so don't just do heavy bomb blocks. If you want to use the heavy bomb blocks on a dedicated close air support platform, you should probably be doing it with the small bomb bay. Now, if you're just coming to the stream, we should go back and take a look at the anti-tank cannon. And we take a look at our anti-tank cannons. We see that with a single engine, we can only fit one anti-tank cannon on there. If I try to fit additional ones, I don't have enough thrust. The plane weighs too much. So you have to do the 2-engine thing, and then I slap on another anti-tank cannon, and now this plane is super expensive. It does have more ground attack, but it doesn't have twice as much ground attack for such an increased cost. And it can't do any naval or port striking because that is not a thing anti-tank cannons can do. I wonder, though, can we do that? No, that's not legal. That is not a legal thing. What if we went to 2 engines? No. You'd still need to be a 2-engine tier 3 plane in order to pull that off. And I'm not sure that doesn't have any more firepower for ground attack. Swapping in bomb blocks and a small bomb bay with that anti-tank cannon just means that this plane can multi-roll a little better by attacking ships and ports as well as doing ground attack. Okay. Seems like Paradox wants to push us away from using anti-tank cannons like people have been using and want us to look at using heavier bomb blocks. But again, per the new upcoming tech tree, this is a 1940 tech. You're not going to be able to do this early on. Not that that probably matters for a lot of players. Most players prefer to like tech rush this 1940 airframe here. So you'd probably be rushing the tier 3 engine, and then as filler techs, you'd probably be picking up whatever you want. Now it's the time to look at cannons and machine guns, because we have to talk about fighters. There's been a significant change in how cannons are going to be working. If you've been following the development of the upcoming Arms Against Tyranny, you're aware that there's like a whole new thing with cannons, because now we have regular cannons, and we have large cannons, which are also not the same thing as, if we go back and look here, regular cannons. There's large cannons which branch off, and then there's cannons 2, which is like 9-year. That's like a 1945 tech, 46 tech. Well, you know what? You may not be wrong, Straight Raider. I mean, you want to shave some of those costs off. That might not be a bad. That might be worthwhile to do. That's one of those things that you'd have to say, okay, do I want the extra versatility? Do I want to shave 2 points of cost off? How you want to slice that pie? And that might be also I'm Britain and I would rather have the versatility, or I'm the Soviets and I don't give a damn about the versatility because all I want to do is bomb German tanks. You know, and I'm going to say this right now. It's on the record because I'm live streaming this. If Paradox changes aircraft in a way that makes people want to design Soviet aircraft in a different way from British aircraft and in a different way from Italian aircraft, I'm all for that. I've never been the biggest fan of country-specific bonuses. I understand why national focuses exist in Hearts of Iron 4, and the mechanic itself isn't bad. But I've never been the biggest fan of, oh, the Russians just get X because they're the Russians in Paradox games. I always prefer it to come from mechanics. And so if this kind of change results in, oh, Britain wants X while the Soviets design Y, I'm all for it. I'm all okay with that. Most certainly. Aircraft. Fighter, aircraft. The heavy cannons. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me slap an engine in here. Okay. Tier 3 engine. This is our weight budget, 25. Now, if you've seen my content, you know I'm a heavy machine gun guy. I've always well, not always, but I have generally, over most of the life cycle of Hearts of Iron 4, after the release of the aircraft designer, I've generally preferred the heavy machine guns. There's a whole list of reasons why I've always preferred it. One of those reasons is that the cannons, while they do raise air attack really well, also raise cost more. And if you do IC equalized tests, where you have the same amount of IC budget on each side in an air war, you watch the cannon armed fighters kill more heavy machine gun armed planes, but it's more expensive to kill them. So I've always been a bigger fan of the heavy machine gun. But Paradox says they've also changed the way agility and speed impact mechanics, so that now you have to make bigger trade-offs with cannons versus machine guns. Now, 3 heavy machine guns gives me a budget, gives me 16 weight out of my 25. You'll notice that the range here is much lower than what you would see in the current release version. This is one of the big changes that's coming. I didn't talk about this with like bomb locks and bomb bays yet, because it's not that it's not important there, but when we're talking about fighters and air superiority, the nerf to range that's coming is going to be it's going to make a big difference unless Paradox changes it. That is a big nerf. So instead of saying, oh, I'm just going to slap on armor plates and make my plane invulnerable to enemy fire, no, if you do that, your range is going to be so bad, you'll have the range of a rocket interceptor. And if you've ever built rocket interceptors in either Hearts of Iron 3 or used the aircraft designer here in Hearts of Iron 4 to do it, you understand what I mean when I say you will have the range of a rocket interceptor. 385 kilometers is not enough range to do much. Okay, so we're going to just remove all of that. Oh, you know what, though? I didn't actually check. Is there actually enough? Okay, this plane with a single Tier 3 engine does have the thrust to mount all that armor. It just has crap range. All right, so let's go ahead and rip all the armor out. Let's go. Now, my favorite module for all light airframes has always been drop tanks. But drop tanks, you'll notice, they've been changed too. Now it's a 25% increase to range, not a flat increase of 300 kilometers. So if I slap that on, now I'm only up to 687. If I want to slap on extra fuel tanks, okay, now that gives me some more range. 962 isn't bad. If I slap on some armor, that's... Am I in budget still? Yeah, I'm still almost out of budget, but I'm still in budget here. Okay, those are important, although that did reduce... What's reducing my agility? Oh, that's... Okay, hold on. Let me rip the armor out for a second. No? Okay. Come on. No? Is that what I need to remove? Okay, yeah. It looks like when I added extra fuel tanks, that's gonna cut my agility a bit. Okay. Important safety tip. Agility, it might be more important. So when I look at a plane like this, I'm almost capped out on weight and thrust. but I'm starting, if I pack on anything else that's heavier, I'm going to run out of weight budget, but I'm also going to have further agility penalties. If I just remove all of this, my agility creeps up a whole bunch. It really does. That's significant. That really is significant. Now, just out of curiosity, if I go to the light machine gun and remove all of this, now my agility is even higher. Yeah, excess thrust is going to affect agility. You're most certainly right, Straight Raider, although it wasn't until now that I realized just how much of an impact it's having. So, the lightest I can make this aircraft is weight 5, which gives me an agility of 55. But if I just slap on a bunch of extra stuff, you just watch that agility drop all over the place. Yep, more agility dropping. Now this plane has an agility of 46. That's a huge, huge, that's a huge drop in agility. Don't worry, I am going to measure that impact in just a little bit. Right now I'm just trying to get a handle on what my constraints are to work with. Okay, so the more I consume my thrust budget, wow, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? Oh no. Now, you know what? Someone's going to make a clip of that and put it on a loop of me saying consume thrust budget. You know what I mean. If you use up all of the budget you have for thrust, your agility is going to be lower. Let's take a... No, not... Damn it. Now let's go take a look at cannons. Okay. Heavy Machine Gun 4 has a weight of 4 and an air attack of 12. Cannons have a weight of 6, an air attack of 20, but look at how much it kills agility. Kills that agility. So if we put that on there, plus this plane, now if I put 2 on there, now the plane weighs too much. It can't even go anywhere. So I have to strip that off. Okay, so that's an air attack of 40 for an agility of 36. How does that... hold on. How does that shake out? Okay, versus 36 and an agility of 46. Okay. So you get a significantly more... You get significantly more air attack, but your agility goes way down. And now you've got a spare... Maybe I could put bomb locks there? No, I can't. I don't even have the budget for bomb locks. Okay. And your agility is going down not just from the weight, but also from the fact that that's just what cannons do. They reduce your agility. Now, if I swap in a second engine, that raises my agility back up, and I should be able to slap on another cannon. Okay. So I got a 2-engine plane now that costs an arm and a leg. I've got 60 air attack, but my agility is 34. Okay. You know what? We're gonna call this Cannon Spitfire. Okay, we're just gonna make that a thing. I'm gonna give it a better picture so I recognize what that is. Okay. Cannon Spitfire. Super expensive, terrible agility, lots and lots of air attack. But we also have large cannons, which, okay, they weigh even more, but wow, why would you use these? No, I'm serious. Look at this. Okay, large cannon, air attack 22, agility -8, weight 10, versus air attack 20, agility -5, weight 6. Also, the large cannons cost more. Like, why would I ever use these? Could I even fit these on the plane? I mean, I could fit them on the plane. I could do that, but I can't. It's a 64 air attack versus 60 air attack with a difference in cost. That's you know what? We'll give it a try. What we're gonna do is we're gonna update this design, and I think this is the first one we should test. I really do. The Cannon Spitfire. We're gonna test a Cannon Spitfire in an IC normalized test against something in France. Here, let's delete all these planes so I don't have to see them. Let's delete all these ships so I don't have to see them. Yeah, I don't care. I just don't want to look at the interface. Let's delete all these planes. I don't want to see them. Delete all these planes. I do not want to see them. Okay, so let's do a practical test. Cannon Spitfire. Let me do the ALE cheat. Okay. Got plenty of aircraft now. I'm going to base some here. Okay, that's 2,000 of those. With a range of 900 kilometers, they can cover the entirety of the English Channel. Alright, we're going to start them exercising. We're going to tag to France. Okay. I'm going to give France some political power. We're going to give France some XP. And then we're going to do some research. We're going to give France some tax. Okay. Then we're going to... Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Let me go back to Britain before I forget. I was a naughty kid. I did not appoint an air designer. Let's appoint Supermarine. And then we're going to rip that out, save it, then we're going to put it back in. Okay, and now, don't call it Spitfire Mark 1, please. Cannon, Spitfire, rename. Let's do the ALE cheat. And then, let me turn the AI off. Okay, we're going to run... okay, do you have... Okay, they have advanced cannon Spitfires. Excellent. Okay, they are training. Now let's go back to France. Let's go and... Okay, we got political power. Let's appoint a light aircraft designer. And we're going to delete all these other planes. I'm going to delete the fleets just to get them out of my interface. Those planes are gone now. Yes, those planes are gone. Alright, now we've got improved. We're going to go ahead and put heavy machine guns. We're going to make a cliche heavy machine gun plane here. Give it drop tanks, give it extra fuel tanks, and we're going to give it armor plates. Later on I can try testing with self-sealing fuel tanks, but right now I want to look at these stats. Okay. I don't want to actually produce a production line, you nitwit of a game. And let's give it an icon that I can actually understand. Here we go. We'll give it that nice fat icon, easy to see. Okay, let's ALE this. And we're going to go ahead. Where is a 2,000 airfield? France doesn't have any, so let's do instant construction. We're going to upgrade. Oh no, there's one right here. I don't know why I didn't see that. I'm an idiot. Go ahead and put... Okay, we're going to put 2,000 there. We're going to start them exercising. Now, when testing aircraft for air superiority, when testing aircraft in air interceptions, when testing anything to do with air-to-air combat, you want to make sure detection is good. Okay? You need good detection. And you get a lot of detection from aircraft. But even if detection is just like a little bit wonky, sometimes it can cause bizarre results in testing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give France and Britain both are going to get all the radar text, and I'm going to use the instant construction cheat. Okay, now France has like ridiculous amounts of radar cover on the channel. Let's go to Britain. We're going to give them max radar text. Okay. Now we've got the instant construction sheet up. We're going to give them massive radar. Okay, now everybody has maximum detection over the channel. I'm going to drop a save here. Aircraft save. And take a drink. And we're going to let these planes exercise. Now, when testing aircraft, I'm trying to test aircraft designs, I do not like to test them unless they have, they've been exercised up to full strength. Or not full strength, until they've been exercised up to like their proper, like maximum air training speed. Yeah, I don't care about George V. If you exercise, oh, we're about to run out of, oh, look at that. I forgot about oil. Hold on. This is going to make this a very short test if nobody has enough oil to exercise thousands and thousands of planes. Okay. We're going to do that, and then I'm going to buy some oil from the United States. And I'm going to go to France. I bet France is out. Yeah, France is almost out. We're going to grab some refining tax. And then we're going to buy some oil from the United States. Otherwise, this isn't going to mean anything. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, there is a hefty nerf to aircraft stats when wings are rookies. So I like to train them all the way up before sending them off to fight each other. All right, these guys are fully trained. Let's check the British. They should be fully trained as well. What? Why is there a carrier here? I thought I deleted all of you. Oh, I know why. Because I produced those. The instant construction cheat produced those for me. Thank you, instant construction cheat. You are so helpful. Here, we need to delete these guys. Okay. Okay, these guys are all done. Now, I'm going to put everyone over the channel. All right, we're going to try that again. Tag France. I'm going to put these guys over the channel as well. On air superiority, we've got our radar, so we have plenty of detection. But we need to compare costs. We're testing airframes here, so we need to test like IC equivalents. Okay, so the D520 costs 35, and wait, hold on. Let's try that again. Tag England. Go over here. That costs 59. So if I go to my calculator app real fast, 59 divided by 35, 1.68. So there should be 1.68 French planes for every British plane applied to this combat. If I've done my math correctly. Okay, so that's 68% more aircraft. I should do the math the other way. That will be easier to do. 35 divided by 59? You can't see me doing it. Okay, 59%. So we're going to tag back to Britain. And here's how we're going to do this. As soon as I open my calculator on my desktop, my window, my second monitor window was suddenly acting crazy. So I'm like trying to get that fixed. Okay, so 59% of 2,000 is going to be 1,186. So we're going to take 8 of these. That means we want 1,200 only 1,200 of these much more expensive aircraft, remember these are super expensive planes, are going to be facing 2,000 French planes because that's the equal IC version of it. Okay. Now let's tag back to France, make sure everything's set up properly. Okay. These guys don't, oh, from that airfield, they don't actually have quite enough range. They are going to operate at a very slight penalty. They don't actually cover the area. That's not good. Hold on. This is why range is important, folks. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move these guys here. Okay, there we go. Now they have range. Okay. Now we're going to drop another save here. And I'm going to use the allowed Diplo cheat. I'm going to declare war on Britain. Of course, I didn't type it correctly. Let's allow Diplo. Come on, allow Diplo. Got it. Let's do it. Declare war. We're going to run this for a month. Remember, both countries, I use the ALE cheat, which gives me 10,000 of all current equipment. So we've got plenty of backup planes. We're going to run this for a month over the channel and see what kind of results we get. And we're off. Yeah, the end of the League of Nations. Who would have guessed? And we're going to, whoops, I'm going to put this on months. And we're running. All right. At the end of a month, the French lost 378 planes to 693 British planes. I don't even have to do the math on that. We all already know that the British planes are far more expensive than the French planes. So if we go back and we tag to Britain, this is a disaster for them. This is terrible. They even have aces and they're doing this bad. But this plane, this Cannon Spitfire I designed, yeah, this is a terrible idea. This plane is bad. We're going to increment I have a counter for this. We need to make sure we increment it correctly. Call it the bad aircraft design counter. That is a terrible aircraft I've designed. Congratulations. If you were thinking of stacking cannons on a light fighter for air superiority purposes, this is not what we should be doing. This is terrible. And if you weren't sure why it's terrible, because you're just joining us, it's because not only do these cannons increase the weight of the aircraft, and increasing the weight towards the maximum you can have for your thrust lowers your agility, but also the cannons themselves heavily penalize agility. These large cannons are just, they're terrible. They are bad. All right, let's go back a save. Go back to the aircraft save. Turn the AI off. Okay, if that's a bad design, what if we went back to only using the regular cannons, not the heavy cannons? Okay, we're still going to need 2 engines for this. But if we swap it back, and we're going to call this Cannon Fighter A, we notice we have a better agility than we did before. And I don't know if you can hear it through the mic, but my neighbors have a very loud vehicle, and like I can feel it through the wall even as they are going. Yeah, this is, let's see if this is any better. I'm gonna guess this is also gonna be terrible. So we're gonna do ALE cheat, and we're gonna see, are these actually, you are not getting new Cannon Spitfires. Why not? You should have, did I not put any in my stockpile? Nope, we got Cannon Fighters A. Hold on. Cannons, but it's clearly outdated. Game. It's clearly outdated. Shuffle them to... You're not going to do it, are you? Just put new aircraft in. Fine. I will delete them, and we will rebuild those air wings from scratch. Cannon Spitfire A. 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Start doing that. And then we're going to link to the research cheat so that both France and Britain can have the requisite fuel. Again, if they don't have enough fuel, they can't exercise or function like anything related to aircraft. Okay, we got that done. Go back to France. Let's get you guys some fuel tax. Okay. Let's set up a trade. Go back to Britain to make sure they're getting enough oil. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, so let's let these guys exercise. Cannon Fighter A's. Just exercise super quick so that we know what we are doing. Yeah, I don't care about George V. Nobody cares about George V. Now, my hypothesis is that this version of the Cannon Fighter will also be a miserable failure compared to the HMGs. But we'll see. We'll see if there's any advantage to this at all. Okay. Now, according to my calculations, if I go back to my calculator app and I do 35 divided by 57, because these planes are cheaper, I should get 61% of 2,000, which should give me 1,200 fighters. Okay. So we're going to select 8 of these. We're going to go fly somewhere else. These guys are going to fly in the English Channel on air superiority. Let's tag to France, make sure their planes are good to go. And, oh, I got to use the instant... Hold on, let's use the instant construction cheat. I almost forgot. No one reminded me. Okay, now we're going to move these guys to the proper airfield and order them to fly in the English Channel. Okay. Get them up there. Time to allow Diplo. Let's see. Declare war. Let's see. Okay, we now are getting air combat over the channel. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We don't ever stop. Don't care what the weather is. Don't care about night. We just go, 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 go. And I'm going to be honest with you. It looks like the British are going to lose this one badly, too. Okay. Months. 420 versus 629 British planes lost. I don't even have to do the math because we all know those British planes cost 57 and the French planes cost 35. This is another clear win for the French. The heavy machine gun fighters are still beating the cannon fighters even in the summer beta. If you're just now joining us, we've been testing aircraft designs, and so far heavy machine guns are still on top. The changes to agility and the changes to how agility is computed seems to be making a difference. Okay. Back to the drawing board. If that is still effective, craft save, go back. If that is still effective, clearly throwing on a bunch of cannons is a terrible idea. But if throwing a bunch of cannons on is a terrible idea... Oh, if you're just joining us, because the range has been nerfed on light airframes in the current beta patch, this is like what I kind of need to do to have enough range to cover the English Channel with a 1940 airframe and still at least have some kind of defense. Okay, so I can't... Let's see. Well, what about light machine guns. Okay, I'll put some light machine guns on there. We'll call this LMG fighter. Yeah, I think you're right, Straight Raider. It's armor may not be it may not be the end all and be all of what's going to happen. And at some point I'm going to run back through this with self-sealing fuel tanks. Okay, that's an air attack of 24. Now, just to make sure I understand what I'm doing here. Okay, light machine guns have an attack of 8. Heavy machine guns have an attack of 12. Okay. So we're going to call this LMG Spitfire. We're going to ALEN some. Now, why is this... Oh, this plane is still more... Oh, I've got too many engines on it. That's me being an idiot. Okay, there we go. Let's try... No, now it's got the wrong name. Damn it! This is so difficult. Okay. LMG Spitfire Mark II. Okay. Or LMG Spitfire Mark II. We use the ALA cheat. Let me make sure it's actually in the stupid stockpile. Yeah, it is. Okay. So we're going to go over here, disband these wings yet again. We're going to do LMG Spitfire Mark IIs. And we're going to start exercising them. I'm going to turn the AI off. If I don't remember to turn on the AI off, we're going to be in big trouble. Because as soon as I unpause the game, the French are going to disband their Air Force and do stupid stuff with it. I'm going to turn on my research on icon click cheat to make sure that Britain can actually find the necessary oil to fly those aircraft. Let's go to France real fast. Same thing with France. I just need enough fuel. This has nothing to do with anything else, but if you don't have enough fuel, then the planes have horrible mission efficiency and they won't exercise worth a damn. Okay. Tag back to England. Alright, let's let these guys do their thing. They're exercising up. Should not take long. That's doing them super fast. Yes, I know. No one cares about George V right now. I also haven't applied doctrines or Air Force spirits yet because I literally just want to compare airframes. That's all I want to do today. Okay. Let's tag back to France real fast. We're going to use the instant construction cheat. And we are going to make sure you got that going. Put that there. Put these guys over the channel. Now, here's where it's going to get complicated. The French plane has a cost of 35. If we tag back to Britain, the British plane has a cost of 32. Put them in the channel, and at a cost of 32 versus a cost of 35, let me pull up my calculator app. 32 divided by 35. That is 91.4 times 2,000. So the French should only run, since this is I want to do an EIC equalized test, should only have 1,800 planes running across the channel. So let's tag back to France, nerf them correctly. Okay, two of you guys are going to go do something else. I'm going to set up allow Diplo. Come on. Come on, Hearts of Iron. Help me out here, buddy. Okay. Go. And we're off into the League of Nations. All right. And of course, we will look at it under months so that we have nice, solid data. Okay. France lost 322 aircraft to 589 British aircraft. That's that's a pretty rousing endorsement of the heavy machine gun versus the light machine guns on those British planes. I mean, it's just like I don't even have to I don't even have to whip the calculator out. The difference in losses here is far more than the price difference of those aircraft. That's pretty bad. Again, we ran the 4 LMGs on there. So, okay. Light machine guns, not as good. Let's go back. Go back to aircraft save. So, heavy cannons, regular cannons, and LMGs don't seem very good. What else can we put on there? If I do that, I do that, and I do that. Dare I put... Is this something I should do? Should I go ahead and test whether or not cannons should go on the light airframe? Because these things have... Like, that cannon defense turret... That'd give me another 3 attack. And the cannon defense turret has an air defense of 4, while the armor module has a defense of 4. This weighs 4. This weighs 2. Let's go down, hold on, let's go down to 1 engine. Could I afford to put a cannon turret on there? I've got the budget for it. It's going to be an air attack of 39 with an agility of 49. Let's try it. I'm going to guess that this is going to be terrible, but let's see if stacking the air attack with that crappy little turret will actually help. Now, I want you to keep in mind, those who are watching today, that what I'm about to do is design a fighter aircraft with wing-mounted machine guns, but it also has a turret with cannons built into it. So it's a single-engine fighter, and that means it's got like a second guy and like a turret, and he's trying to shoot at other planes. It's ridiculous. We're going to call it the turret... Oops, I can't spell today. Turret Spitfire. Oh, you know what? I didn't update my bad designs counter. Hold on. Yeah, that was a pretty bad design. Let's go to... That was 2. LMGs were a terrible idea. And... Okay, this plane costs 38 and has an air attack of 39. Let's ALE it. Okay, we're going to disband these wings. We're going to re-up these wings. Turret Spitfire. We'll start exercising them. I probably need to do the research doodad so that Britain can actually have research. Okay, tag to France. Again, make sure France has got the same thing. France has to trade for oil. Britain's got plenty of oil, but France needs to trade for that oil. And did I actually turn the AI off? I did not. Okay. Also, let's do the instant construction sheet. Put an airfield in the central location. Here, you guys. Okay. Did I actually tell the ones in England to... Yeah, they are exercising. Excellent. Okay. Turret aircraft versus heavy machine gun fighters. Now, my money is on French heavy machine gun fighters versus... Yeah, they should win. But we won't know till we test it. Okay. Now, just for the record, these cost 38 and the French planes cost 35. So 92% times 2,000. Okay, 1,800. Okay, so in order to make the IC cost of each side equalized, Britain can only have 1,800 planes on air superiority versus 2,000 French planes. Okay, we'll put that there. They are on air superiority. Let's do allow Diplo. And let's declare war on Britain. Okay, end of the League of Nations. Oh, now this is interesting. These results look much closer together. Well, I said that, but no, they're not. Yeah, no. The French win again. French lost 487 planes to 685 British planes, and the British planes are more expensive than the French planes. Okay, turrets on fighter aircraft, light aircraft are not a good idea. All right, tag to England. So that was a terrible idea. Let's update the bad design counter to reflect that. Had to test it though. If I didn't test that, I'd be wondering all night. I'd be like, I wonder if that could work. Could it really? And the answer would be no. It doesn't work at all. Why is it? Pardon me. My streaming software is acting silly. Okay. That was a terrible idea. So far, HMGs with no cannon turret seem to be on top of their game. Let's go back. And now we're going to try something different. We've been testing light airframes versus light airframes. But I think you all know what has to happen now. See? It wouldn't be an aircraft test if we didn't at least try to build a heavy fighter. So let's build a heavy fighter. 1940 techs. Okay. What can I do with you, improved medium airframe? We're going to start with a 2-engine heavy fighter, but I'm going to see how much armament I can stuff onto it. Okay, fighter weapons. Now, we already know that the agility on these planes isn't that great. Okay? So we're going to just lean into large cannons. Okay. 3 engines? No, let's go to 4. Yeah, let's do a 4-engine heavy fighter. This is going to be insane. This is going to be Insanity Fighter. Okay, that's 4 engines, and we're going to add... No, not a flying boat. We're going to add a cannon defense turret times 2. A cannon defense turret times 2. Okay. And Insanity Fighter. Okay, this is what we have now. This is a 4-engine medium airframe fighter with 4 large cannon modules and 2 double cannon turret modules. I would put more on here, but we are literally at the weight and thrust cap. Now, I want you to look at the agility on this plane for a second. It has 3 agility. It also costs 114. We're going to change that to a icon that I can understand. How about that icon? That's a nice area. Okay. So this plane should just outright lose to a French fighter. It should just do that. There should be no reason this plane could do anything. But if we don't test it, we'll never know. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try ALE it in. We're going to delete all these planes. And we're going to issue a whole bunch of these guys. Where is Insanity Fighter on the list? There it is. I'll figure out exactly how many I'm allowed to put over the channel in a second. We're going to go ahead and get that exercise started. And let's see. 114 cost. Let's factor that in. Okay, the French fighters, we already know cost 35. So the British should only have 30% of their planes active, and that's going to be 600. So I actually way overshot the mark here. That's my bad. We're going to go ahead and just cash out some of those. Put some of these guys somewhere else. Here, we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay. So these guys are going to exercise, and we're going to put 600 of the super heavy fighters on over the channel against French light fighters. Let's tag to France. Make sure France has enough oil. Because if France doesn't have enough oil, we're in big trouble. Britain should also be... Britain should be fine, but let's make sure. 600 heavy fighters shouldn't be a big tax on it. And we make sure AI is off. Alright, let's let these guys exercise. Now, I should point out that light fighter designers add agility to light airframes, but there is no comparable designer for medium airframes. So these guys are penalized heavily on agility and like potential other aspects of their design. They are going to be terrible. Okay. We're going to take all of you, put them in the channel on air superiority. Let's tag to France. Oh, I need to move airfields real fast. Okay, you guys go here, put you there. All right, let's allow Diplo. And let's declare war on Britain. End of the League of Nations. And we're off. Oh, God, this is a massacre. Oh, yeah, these heavy fighter... Man, this is terrible. Look at that. Like, there are days where no French fighters are lost at all. Yeah, this is this is so bad. Those British planes cost like 3.5 times as much as the French planes, but they lost like 10 times as many. Okay, so cannon turrets, bad idea. Worst idea ever if you're trying to do any kind of air superiority mission. Let's increment the bad aircraft design counter. That was a terrible, terrible idea. It's like the worst thing you could have ever done. Oh boy. I bet these wings are also low. Oh yeah, look at all the XP they lost. Like, that's a significant decline in pilot quality. That's bad. That is just terrible. Okay, so that didn't work. Let's go back to a previous save. So far, the HMG fighter is the best we've got, which I don't think is too big of a change in the beta compared to what we have now. Agility matters more, though. Let me just say that. We can tell that agility matters more because what we saw there, that massacre of heavy fighters, was in part because of really low agility. Now, if I activate my research cheat, let me go back and take a look at something. Okay, improved medium air thing. Okay. If I go back here and I just do 2 engines. Okay, that starts at 50 agility versus 60 agility. Okay. The medium airframe starts with 10 less agility than the light airframe. So I wonder if I could design a heavy fighter with 48 air attack. Okay, and then we're going to slap on... Yeah, let's slap on some armor plates. Okay, we're going to call this Big Fighter. We're going to call this the Big Fighter. Since mounting an insane number of turrets didn't really help, and mounting insanely large cannons didn't help, we're going to do this instead. Oh, wait, I'm not doing engines correctly. How about a tier 3 engine? There, that's much better. So now I have a medium airframe 2-engine fighter, and we can compare that against the French Air Forces. This is also half the price of what I was just throwing at the French the last time. So we're going to go ahead and save Big Fighter. Let's give it an icon I actually understand. I really hate how Hearts of Iron selects icons. Okay, I'm going to give Britain the requisite text. We're going to delete these old planes and we're going to put in some new planes. That's the Bristol. There we go. Nope, that's the transport. That's the Bristol. That's the Haley Page 4. Where is the stupid... Did I not ALE it in? Okay, let's try ALE command. Alright, am I not doing this correctly? ALE, there we go. Here we go. Is this what I wanted? No, that isn't what I wanted. That's basic medium frame. I'm looking for the advanced. There we go, Big Fighter. Put that there. We're going to start exercising that on the tag to France. Damn it. And then we're going to make sure France has fuel. We're going to purchase the fuel, of course, like we always do. That is not what I wanted to do. Try again. Buy from the U.S. And we're going to use the instant construction cheat to build an airfield here at a central location, because that is what we do. Okay. Those planes are starting to do that. Let's go back to England. Okay. We know for a fact that the French planes cost 35. These big fighters cost 57. So if we run the big fighters against the French, we only need 61% of them. So 61% of 2,000 is going to be 1,200. So we're going to go ahead and remove 8 of these because we don't need all of them. Okay. I overdid it a tiny bit here. All right, so let's let these guys exercise up, and then we're going to try again. Yeah, no one cares about you, King George V. Nobody cares. All I care about are aircraft. I do love aircraft, though. Okay. They are good to go. We're going to put them over the channel. Tag to France. Put them over the channel. Then I'm going to use my allow Diplo cheat. Oh, now this is interesting. This is the first time that losses have even been close. Okay. France lost 469 planes to Britain's 375. Now, I should tell everybody, I'm deliberately not counting accidents because I don't care about that. We're only looking at combat performance. So I actually need the calculator for this one. I don't know which plane did better. So that's 469 planes at a cost of 35, which is 16,415. Throw that in my calculator's memory. Let's do 375 times 57, which is 21,000. Okay, the French planes still win in terms of IC cost, but they are now taking more overall losses, which means France loses more pilots. France loses more pilots in this situation. So this is actually interesting. Let's go back and take a look at the at British planes, because this big fighter so far is the only thing that's remotely threatened the French heavy machine gun fighter I've been using. It's the only thing that's remotely done that. Why is this able to at least somewhat compete? Well, it has an agility of 39, which, while not great, is not terrible. It upguns the French aircraft by quite a bit, and it has more air defense than the French aircraft. But it is slower and it has comparable range. The only reason this plane is not absolutely superior is because it costs so much more than the French plane. So the French heavy machine gun fighter, let's go take a look at it again. That French heavy machine gun fighter only costs 35. And that's, so even though its stats are weaker across the board except for agility and speed, because it costs so much less, this plane does better in combat performance. It just does. Which tells me, that makes me wonder though. Let's go back to Britain. Just a second. Okay. For this plane, this is a 2-engine aircraft. Okay. It actually has some budget room on it. I wonder... Okay, self-sealing fuel tanks would have... I wonder if self-sealing fuel tanks would have made this plane better. That would have made it more expensive. Alright, let's go back and try it out. Maybe I just designed that plane wrong. It's not a bad design. Maybe it's not optimized correctly. So we're going to go back. We're going to turn the AI off. We're going to turn on research. Click. I see. Okay. Let's try that again. But this time, we're going to use armor and self-sealing fuel tanks. Because if I'm correct, I could be completely wrong about this, the increase to air defense should make the plane, because like self-sealing fuel tanks adds barely any weight, but adds or barely any cost, but adds a ton of air defense. Okay, we're going to call this Big Fighter 2. Big Fighter 2. Now, if you're just coming to the stream, I'm still trying to test which of these planes might be more effective in air-to-air combat. But I may have found a medium fighter design in the summer beta patch that could, or a medium airframe fighter design that can beat a light frame fighters of any kind. Up until this point, what we're about to test, light fighters with heavy machine guns have been winning every engagement, whether the opposing planes have cannons and light airframes, or cannons and medium airframes, or cannons and or heavy machine guns and medium airframes. But Big Fighter 2 might be the one that's going to win it for Britain. Let me swap you to an icon I like. Okay. Now, we're going to ALE these guys in. We're going to delete all these guys. Now, the French plane, I know, costs 35. The British plane is 58.5. So that's 59 times 2,000. Okay, so the British are going to get 1,200 of these big fighters. So we're going to put 1,200 in. Plop them down, start the exercise. Then we're going to go back to France. Nope. We're going to put the airfield where I want it to be. Start advancing the clock. Move these guys to the proper airfield. Okay, let's let everybody exercise. If this works, or if it gets really close to working, I'm going to have to do some further testing with it. If this doesn't work, it'll be time for a radical change in design. It'll be time to start slapping on like heavy machine gun turrets or something. Okay, these guys are done exercising. We'll put them over the channel. Tag France. Okay, French aircraft, they're not actually done exercising for some reason. Oh, because France is out of fuel, damn it. That's my fault. See, this is why you have to have fuel. Okay, French are ready to go. Put the planes over the channel. Fire off my allow Diplo cheat. And let's declare war. Overlay channel. Okay, now just looking at raw aircraft numbers, the French are clearly losing. But remember, the big fighters that the British are using cost a lot more. So we're going to have to tally up a month's worth of fighting and see if... Okay. These numbers look bad for the French. That's 518 French planes lost in air battle to 336 British planes. Let's total up the cost. Okay, 35 times 529 is 18,000. 515 memory add, memory subtract, memory store. Okay, now we're going to clear that out. 336 times 58.5 is 19,656. Okay, that is less than 1,000 IC cost of difference. That is a tiny, I mean, okay, not tiny, but that is less than 5% difference. That's not quite in the territory of statistical errors, but that's pretty good. We're gonna hold on. We're gonna store that. Yeah, we're gonna store those numbers in memory for a second. What can I do to make the... What can I do to make the British plane better? Well, I know someone is probably right now saying, oh, you should use the medium aircraft designer. But all that's going to do is increase my reliability, which doesn't impact combat performance any. That would be important as you exercise aircraft. That I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but we're testing combat capability right now, so that's not going to help us. What could we do to make this plane even better? Well, I still have weight budget left. What would happen if I put a turret on here? Oh. All right, then that's that. You know what? that might be the right answer. Because armor plates, well, I don't know. Armor plates, they weigh 6 versus a turret. You know what? You know what? Hold on. Let's do another poll. Let's do another poll. Something a little more. We're gonna do another series. Should, oh boy, I can't type today. Should Paradox balance fighters towards light or medium airframes? Light, medium. All right, new poll up. Because if I tweak this design a little more, I might be able to get comparable air-to-air combat losses with the light fighter. And if I achieve that, I don't know if that's what's supposed to happen, if that's what Paradox wants to happen, if that's what players want to happen. I don't know. I don't have a clue what the balance even should be. So let's turn the AI off. I'm going to go back and we're going to do my research on icon click. Okay, let's go research. And if you're just joining the stream, I just want to be clear, we are doing the summer beta, the open beta that's happening right now. So none of this is in vanilla Hearts of Iron right now. We're trying to, you can just see this screen right here. This is not the normal tech tree. I'm trying to figure out how aircraft work in the current summer beta. And so far, what we've learned, you can tell by the bad aircraft designs counter, that so far what we've learned is, one, heavy cannons or large cannons are garbage. Two, adding lots of weight to an aircraft lowers its agility, which makes it worse at fighting. And that 3, light machine guns are still as bad as they are in the regular version of the game. Okay, so 2 tier 3 engines. We're going to slap on self-sealing fuel tanks. We're going to slap on some armor plates. And then we're going to slap on heavy machine gun turrets. And then we're going to put in heavy machine guns, and heavy machine guns. Now, if you're just joining the stream and you're not sure why cannons are so bad, look at cannons now weigh a bunch, they cost a bunch, but they also nerf agility. But because agility is also nerfed by how much of the thrust you use up with weight, because they weigh so much and penalize agility, cannons are essentially double dipping. So yeah, they really penalize agility badly. Okay, so we're going to call this Big Fighter 3. Big Fighter 3. Now, the last 2 versions of Big Fighter got close to beating the French Light Fighter, and one of the things that keeps them from winning completely is the fact that they have a higher production cost. So this turret, this heavy machine gun defense turret, adds, wait, am I using the right turret? Yeah, here we go. Adds a bunch of production costs to the aircraft. It also adds air defense and air attack, which is great. But as these aircraft costs increment higher, we start seeing a problem where, yeah, you can have a plane that has nice stats, and in one-on-one engagements it does fine. But if the enemy can produce 2 times as many planes as you end up getting swamped. So we're going to call this, Big Fighter 3. We're going to give it an icon. I actually know what it is. Okay, Big Fighter 3. We're going to ALE this guy in. We're going to delete all of these old planes, and we're going to put in... Now, hold on. Let me calculate this. The French plane costs 35. This costs 62.5. So 35 divided by 62.5. 56 times 2,000. Okay, so Britain can only have 1,100 fighters versus the 2,000 French fighters waiting for them on the other side of the channel. This is how we test whether or not these designs are effective in terms of industrial cost. If the plane is more expensive than the other plane it's fighting against, there need to be fewer of them because we're trying to throw IC normalized planes against IC normalized planes. Okay, so it's 1100. Did I actually give Britain... Let me give them fuel tech so they can actually have fuel. Let's go to France. Did I turn the AI off? Okay. Give France the same things. We're going to have to have France buy fuel from Ley, US. I hate that, but that's the way it has to be. Oh, I also need the instant construction sheet because we're going to put those French planes here in Normandy. Okay, these guys are Gruppo Chasing. I don't know why they're called Group de Chase, but I'm probably even saying it wrong, but that's just what they are. All right. All right, we are busy exercising. Hurry up and exercise, planes. And okay, the French are done exercising. We're gonna do allow Diplo if I can type correctly. Tag to Britain. Make sure their planes are set up. Okay. You guys on air superiority. Tag back to France. And let's roll. I don't think this is going to go as well for the British as it did last time. Well, it might. Okay. 30 days. That's 459. French aircraft lost to 320. That seems a lot similar to what we did before. 35 times 459. That's 16,000 IC worth of French planes lost versus, let's see, 320 British planes times cost of 60. Wait, hold on. Was the 62.5 is 20,000 in IC cost. Yeah, that's definitely a win for the French. Okay. Trying to put a turret on those British planes was a terrible idea because they don't get enough stats to justify the extra cost. So that was a bad idea. I wonder if extra armored plates might help. Well, I don't know if that would help either. All right. Back to the drawing board again. So far, heavy machine gun light fighters have won every single time. Every time. I can't believe it. I can't believe that that's what's winning. I was thinking it would be something else, but if that's literally what's going to happen, I don't have an answer to how the game is going to change, because it looks like it's not going to change very much in aircraft design. And here's why I'm saying that. Ignore these. Let me just remove these. Let me just pull these cannons off. Let me put heavy machine guns on here so we can talk about this like rational adults. Okay. 4 heavy machine guns. A heavy machine gun Spitfire has a decent amount of agility and air attack, and it's got a range of 907. We could put more armor on here. We could swap other things around, but at the end of the day, this plane still has to have enough range to actually function, and due to the range nerf for light aircraft, if I pull off all these other modules, let's just remove these modules. The aircraft only has a range of 550. And that's not even enough to cover the English Channel adequately, much less some of these other air regions. Like, could you imagine trying to fly in northern France from a British airfield? It's not going to work. It's not going to work in Western France. The range is terrible, so you have to add range upgrades to make the plane worth using, but you also need some defense, so whether you're getting it from self-sealing fuel tanks or armor plates, like, what's important here isn't that. What's important is that you've actually got enough defense. What you can't do is only use defensive modules and only use offensive modules. You're gonna, at the 1940 tech level, the way Paradox has nerfed range, you've got to have range upgrades to your plane. Otherwise, it's useless. But we know we haven't tested yet. Been at this for an hour, and what we haven't done is we haven't tested attacks against bombers. So here's what we're gonna do. Hold on, let me check my research. Okay, let me turn off the AI. Let me do my research on icon click. Pick up my fuel text. Pick up that. Let's try fighters against bombers. We haven't done that yet. Let's see what kind of performance we can get with heavy machine guns against bombers versus cannons or other stuff. And we're going to start with tactical bombers first, then we'll do strategic bombing. And I can also try to do port strikes and navs, but if you know anything about testing port strikes and navs, you know that it can be very inconsistent, whereas strategic bombing is very consistent because the planes will fly the mission over and over again. So we're going to put a medium bomb bay there, a medium bomb bay there, then we're going to add, let's do a 4-engine plane. Medium, oh, okay, it won't let me add any more medium bomb bays. So we're going to put self-sealing fuel tanks, armor plates, let's put some cannon defense turrets. How about some more more cannon defense turrets? And another set of cannon defense turrets. Okay. So this is going to be Big Bomber A. This is Big Bomber. Big Bomber A. It's got 900... Ooh, I don't know if that's enough range. That might not be enough range, actually. Hold on. We might need to... We're going to have to put in some... Yeah, okay. That should maybe give it enough range to bomb Western France. Alright, let's give that a try. Okay, Big Bomber A, it costs 113. Let's tag to France. Now, if it costs 113, let's... Okay, I've deleted all those planes. Let's ALE them in. But if it's 113, let me pull my calculator app up. 113, no, I'm doing the math wrong again. 35 divided by 113, so that's 30%. So we need, let's see, 30% of 2,000, because I've got 2,000 aircraft on the French side. That's going to be 600 and some odd planes. Okay, so we're going to put 600 of these tactical bombers here. Big Bomber A. Okay, we're going to start exercising them. Yep, they've got sufficient range. We'll have them attack northern France. Go back to France. We're going to give France technologies so that she can actually have fuel. Purchase some fuel. Okay, now these planes, they don't have good range, so actually no, they've got sufficient range. So they will be able to defend northern France from that airfield. So we'll go ahead and put them there. And here's how I'm gonna test this in case it's not obvious. I don't actually care about the damage the bombers are doing that much, like if buildings stay dead or not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the instant construction cheat so that buildings are repaired instantly. I'm going to count buildings destroyed, but I'm not actually going to count, like I'm not worried about stupid things like are the buildings staying destroyed very long. I just care about buildings actually being destroyed and whether the fighters are actually able to hurt the bombers. So we're going to do that. We're going to go tag back to England. Okay, these guys, they are done. I'm going to put them on... Where's strategic bombing? Okay, we're going to put them on strategic bombing. We're going to tag to France. I'm going to use my allowed Diplo cheat. And let's declare war. Alright, League of Nations is over. Now, we have the 600 bombers there. Although the weather is crap over northern France. And let's see what we can accomplish in 30 days. Okay, it looks like... Oh, wow, this is a massacre. This is terrible. Okay. Over the course of a month, those tactical bombers inflicted 0.1 damage to buildings. They were disrupted a whole bunch. They shot down 46 French planes, and the French bagged 182 bombers, plus the 6 killed by AA, which I'm not worried about. Yeah, that's a terrible design. Let's go back and take a look at it again. Yeah, this plane is a terrible design. The French fighters, this plane is so expensive that the French fighters have no problem shooting it down. That's a terrible plane. Let me increment my bad plane counter. That's terrible. Nobody likes that. Is there a way I could make this cheaper? If I went down to... I could have made it cheaper by going down to 3 engines. It's really not that good, though. I thought maybe that the air defense value would be better, but... No, No, this isn't gonna work. This is a terrible idea for a bomber. It's super expensive. These cannon turrets really raise the cost. And for us, that raising of cost is bad. Okay, let me back up and explain what's going on here from the perspective of the British. 600 bombers are flying in. These are medium airframe tactical bombers to bomb French buildings. They're on strategic bombing duty. They only have 600 planes, so the 2,000 French aircraft are more than capable of disrupting all of the British bombers. Why are they able to do that? Well, because the French planes can 2-to-1 or even 3-to-1 the British bombers. So even though individually those French planes are armed like in an inferior way to these British like cannon-toting bombers, the reality is they're double and triple teaming the bombers, and the bombers simply cannot get to the target and do any real damage. So they get massacred day and night, and there's nothing that they can do about it. It surely doesn't help that there's plenty of detection as well, because the French have... I already put radar on both sides of the channel, but there's no way for the bombers to sort of sneak in. That is... yeah, that's not good. However, tactical bombers are also not known for their heavy-duty strategic attack. if we take a look at it, for those paying attention, like they have a strat bombing of whopping 12. That is not much strategic bombing attack at all. And so for the cost of this plane, you're like, why am I designing a plane like this to only do minimal strategic attack? Okay, back to the drawing board. That was a terrible idea for an aircraft. Turn the AI off, get my research engaged. If medium airframe at 1940 is a terrible idea, let's go big and get a big airframe in play. Now, the medium aircraft designer just increases reliability, so nobody cares about that. But if I'm going to do strategic bombing with a heavy airframe, let's go ahead and put Avro on there for a strategic bombing boost. All right. Improved large airframe. Minimum of 4 engines. So let's put a large bomb bay on there. Let's put a large bomb bay on there. And let's put another, wait. Yeah, that should be fine. Let's do self-sealing fuel tanks. Let's do armor plates. And then let's add... Okay, those cannon defense turrets are super expensive. So let's instead put let's put some heavy machine gun turrets on. No, the plane's now too heavy. Nope, the plane is now too heavy. Nope, how is the plane still too heavy? Oh, the armor plates. Oh. So how do I want to do this? This weighs... Let me remove that. And does that let me put a turret on? Can I put a second turret on? Okay. The Lancaster's going to be slow as Christmas. But this is that's only 6 air attack? 4 agility? These guys are going to get butchered. I don't know. With the changes to agility that are coming, I'm not entirely sure that's going to work. I mean, it's going to have ridiculously high air defense. Okay, maybe we need to upgrade to 6 engines. Add another large bomb bay. Where does that put me? Okay. I want this here, and I want this here. Okay, that still gives me some budget for a large bomb bay. Nope, that doesn't. Okay. This plane is... This Lancaster bomber is super expensive. This will probably be a terrible strategic bomber, but let's give it a try. Okay, Lancaster bomber. It weighs 162, so... I should only have... times 2,000... Okay, in order to have an IC equalized test, I'm only going to be able to throw 400 of those Lancasters at the French. Because they've got 2,000 fighters defending, so I'm going to ALE in some planes using everybody's favorite all equipment cheat. Here, we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4 of these here, start them exercising. I don't think this is going to work, but it's worth trying. Meanwhile, I got my 200 planes there. They are exercising. France does need the text to actually refine the fuel supply. And, of course, my neighbors are using their very loud vehicles downstairs. I don't know if the mic's picking it up, but, yeah, that's what that weird hum is. Did I turn my AI off? I did. Okay. I'm going to let these guys exercise up to full strength, and then we're going to send the bombers in and see what we can do. I suspect that my heavy machine gun French fighters, even though they're just using heavy machine guns, should be able to take down the British bombers. without too much difficulty. Ta-da! Okay. Put them on air superiority tag to England / Britain. We're going to order... Oh, they're not quite done exercising. Okay. Put them on strategic attack in northern France. Here. Tag back to France. Activate the allowed Diplo cheat. Declare war. Alright. And let's see. Yeah, just as I thought. Yeah, they are inflicting almost no damage on France. Yeah, look at that. They're just barely hitting some railways. But like the kills are amazingly bad. Yeah, the French lost 17 fighters. Oh no, they lost 7 fighters in air battle versus 96 Lancaster bombers. Yeah, I don't have to calculate that out. That's a clear loss for the British. And Britain didn't even do hardly any damage to France. Like, they scratched some railroads, and that was it. Okay. Unescorted bombers not doing too well against the French fighters. But what that tells me, though, that tells me that at 1940 techs, I don't need cannons on fighters to shoot down strategic bombers. This plane is perfectly suited for killing planes on strategic bombing, killing other fighters, and I'm sure it would have no problem killing Stukas or other aircraft on ground attack. I had thought, I was like, well, you know, maybe you would want cannons or something to defeat these Lancasters, but the more I upgun the Lancaster, the more expensive it gets, and upgunning this Lancaster in the ridiculous way I've upgunned it doesn't help it repel enemy air attack. It just doesn't. Which is weird, because I was thinking, well, at a certain amount of armor and self-defense turrets, the light fighters might have a hard time actually bagging them, but they don't. They don't have a hard time. Now, these self-defense turrets, these heavy machine gun turrets, they don't add a whole lot of air defense, but they also don't add a whole lot of weight or production cost. We could go cannon turret 2 for air defense 8, air attack 6, and weight 8, but that also makes the plane even more expensive, and I don't think that would work well. But I do wonder if, like, I could add... Hold on, let's reset this. This plane has a air defense stat of 69 with these turrets on there. If I remove all the turrets and instead add armor, could I add enough armor? Nope, I can't add enough armor to get back up to that air defense without making the plane too heavy to fly. So the turrets, even the like heavy machine gun turrets, would be a better purchase than the armor plates. If I'm reading these number rights, even though they're still not good, it's because I can't stack as much armor on the plane. It wouldn't matter that the turrets aren't good. It only matters that the air defense stat is still higher when I do this than if I try to stack additional armor, because those turrets add decent amounts of air defense in addition to their low weight and low production cost. Which is a long roundabout way of saying that I don't know if there's a way to optimize this Lancaster to beat the French light fighter. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I don't mean that in like a bad way. I don't mean that in like a, oh, that's terrible, but I mean that in a, it seems like a heavy machine gun fighter, despite cannons, despite cannon turrets, despite armor plates, under the current summer beta patch, and this patch is gonna change. Cannon turrets are cannon fighters like this are unnecessary because you don't need the extra firepower for bombers. You don't want the extra firepower for bombers. This is a perfectly acceptable aircraft for shooting down bombers. You wouldn't want it to be any better at shooting down bombers because you don't need a specialized aircraft for it. It was already getting ridiculous number of air-to-air kills against 1940 bombers. Paradox, I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say Paradox is probably going to want to fiddle with turret values and armor values because that's, like, they've made it clear they want to change things, but that change, that's not really changing things. Air design for fighter aircraft is still boiling down to something like this. Ranges are different, agility is different, but this still ends up being a design with an optimal amount of firepower. I don't know how to make that better at this tech level. I don't know what else I would do to design a fighter better. Is this literally like the second thing I designed tonight? Is this going to, with maybe just swapping this for self-sealing fuel tanks, is this going to end up being the best fighter in the new upcoming air changes? It can't be. This can't be what is going to be the best fighter. It just can't. That's silly. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what's going to be the best fighter. I don't know. Let's try something different, though. Wait, no. We're going to cancel all this out, go back to the menu, and we're going to start this over, the testing over again. But I spent a lot of time early in the stream blathering on about armor-piercing bombs. So what we're going to do, we're going to put armor-piercing bombs to the test. And we're going to put all of these ships, these British ships are going to go all in. I'm going to put AI off. We'll put Somerville in command. Let's see, this is 4 CAs, 4 battleships, a cruiser, 48 DDs, and 11 subs. They need more destroyers. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put this fleet together. Yeah, there we go. That should have sufficient screening. Okay. And we're going to test how much of a difference bomb locks make versus medium torpedoes. Because the light torpedo module is very clearly outclassed by armor-piercing bombs, but the torpedo module medium is not quite as clearly outclassed. So we're going to design two different aircraft. Okay, hold on. I need to get some research done. Let's go back. 1940 aircraft. Bomb locks. A lot of torpedoes. But we got to do it anyway. Okay. Okay. And what we're going to do, in order to make sure that we're doing this the best we can, we're going to put the naval bomber designer on these guys. Oh, I don't have any political power. That's going to be quite difficult. Okay, there we go. The Levasseur. And we're going to build two different aircraft. Okay. Aircraft number 1. It's going to be Mr. Bomb Locks. It's going to use all the AP bomb locks. Put a single engine on it. Now, how much budget do I have left? Okay. Put a bomb lock on it. Put some dive brakes on it. And that's the best we can do. Okay, so this is going to be Bomb Locks Bomber. Okay, so there's that. Okay, that's a stupid icon. I hate the way Hearts of Iron does that. Okay. Now, we're going to make a duplicate of this, and this is going to be Torpedo Bomber. And we're going to change this out for that. We're going to remove all that. We're going to remove that. And is there anything else? Yeah, okay. And that's going to be Torpedo Bomber. Hold on. But why is Bomb Locks Bomber? Oh. Oh, do you see that? All right, viewers, we've just discovered something. This is something I did not notice until just now. Now, we know there's a change coming to Mios. Design companies are going to change at some point in the new expansion. But do you notice how this torpedo bomber, because it's got a torpedo module on it, benefits from this designer? It gets the naval attack boost, which gives it a naval attack of 19.8 because it's got the designer boosting it. Whereas this is flagged as a close air support aircraft, so it doesn't actually get any sort of boost to its stats, which means Mr. Torpedo Bomber here is, yeah, it hits a little harder. Now, Bomb Locks guy here has better naval targeting, and he costs more. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ALE. We're gonna use the instant construction. Damn it! Instant construction cheat. And what I'm gonna do is we're gonna put some radar in France along the channel. This is so we can spot ships sailing in the channel. Then I'm going to put some airfields there. Okay, we got airfields. Now, I'm going to go into the air screen. We're going to delete all these air wings. They are gone. Then we are going to put 1,000 Bomb Locks bombers here. And then we're going to put 1,000 torpedo bombers here. Okay, you know what? That icon is terrible. I need different icons or I cannot tell the difference between these planes. Sure, let's use that icon. Okay, we've got them set up. We're going to not waste time exercising them because none of these stats matter for naval attack. Oh, their range isn't that great. Okay, they will have to accept that. They're going to have kind of lousy range because that's just the way things are. We're going to tag to England / Britain. Every time I do that, it says tag ing because ENG is the tag code for Britain, but it's ENG, so it makes me think of England. And so what we're going to do, we're going to order Somerville to patrol the English Channel. Now, I'm going to save. I'm going to call this nav save. Nav save. And did I turn the AI off? Okay, I did. We're going to let Somerville get into the channel. Okay, Somerville's in the channel. These guys are going to go somewhere else just because I don't want them around. Go somewhere else. I don't want you here. Okay. These guys are patrolling. I'm going to remove all their aircraft because I don't actually care about that. We're going to tag back to France. Okay. We're going to do allow Diplo. And we're going to declare war. No, I'm going to save. Hold on. Let me do another save. We're going to do nav save 2. And here's my plan. I want to declare war on Britain. And then I'm going to order the bomb locks planes to bomb British ships until I get a hit. Then I'm going to pause, analyze the hit. Then I'm going to go back to the save and then have the torpedo bombers do it. And we're going to see how the two different things shake out. All right, so that's the torpedo bomber. We're going to do bomb locks guys first. Put them in the channel. Okay. Hold on. Okay. And then let's go ahead and declare war. All right, we're going to pause right now. Okay. Bomb locks planes did 4% on Courageous, 2% on Valiant, and 2% on Queen Elizabeth. That's 100% of bomb locks planes hit capital ships. Okay, so the naval targeting was good. That doesn't seem like a lot of damage, but let's compare that and let's try it with torpedo bombers and let's see how that works. Because okay, turn the AI off. Allow Diplo. Okay. Okay, torpedo bombers selected. Naval strike, go. Okay, I've got a hit. That's only 3% damage on HMS Resolution. HMS Resolution, what is that? Is that a... Okay, that's a aircraft. That's a battleship. And over here we've got 7% on HMS Valiant and 3% on Queen Elizabeth. The loss of 8 planes. I don't know. They seem like RNG might be impacting this, but they seem like they are comparable if you use the naval designer. Because if you use the naval designer, it boosts those torpedo bombers enough to slightly outperform. I want to make this clear. The bomb locks planes that use the armor-piercing bombs that are in the beta patch, but they don't actually impact. But they don't it doesn't make them better, but the bomb locks planes still have better naval targeting, so I guess it kind of evens out. I'm not sure what the better thing to do is here. The torpedo bombers are also cheaper, and as I'm thinking about it, I bet this only costs 4. It only weighs 8. Versus this plane is almost already at its cap for weight. So I could make this dedicated naval bomber. I could give it drop tanks, and I could give it extra fuel tanks. Ooh, I could give it even more extra fuel tanks. Or I could even give it... I could give it floats. We could make it a float plane. But I could give it... That could give it more range than you can with bomb locks, which would make it the superior naval strike aircraft, except maybe from a carrier. A carrier, I'm going to guess here that when flying from a carrier, they're probably... bomb locks will probably win out very slightly, but again, if they ever fixed some of the other issues with carrier aircraft, carrier navs should improve, because right now you could just build the cheapest carrier nav possible and it's like no big deal. I wonder. Okay, wait. Hold on. This plane has a range of 550. I could put some extra fuel tanks on it. I could put some drop tanks on it. And I could make it a float plane. I could not double the range, but I could make the range a lot better for the torpedo bomber if I really wanted to. Now, that's going to nerf the air defense on this plane, and it's going to nerf the agility, but this plane probably shouldn't be operating anywhere where there's enemy fighters anyway. It will also make this plane more expensive than the bomb locks plane. But this, knowing now that the naval aircraft designer will only apply to planes that have the torpedo module and not bomb locks, changes how I perceive these aircraft. Again, we don't know what's going to happen with MEOs at all. For all I know, MEOs will make planes have little clown makeup on them. We haven't gotten too many details on it. We've gotten some details, but it's not like we've seen them in action yet. So now I don't know whether or not that's what the right answer is here. What I'm beginning to think is that based on what I've done tonight and based on how these designers all function at the moment, as soon as we actually get access to MEOs and we get access to how they can develop, we might see some significantly different math when it comes to naval strike. I don't know how it's going to impact fighters, but it's probably going to have a significant impact on naval strike. Now, since I've got the MEO up, do I still have my research boost? Yeah, hold on. Let me put that in. Just for funsies. Just for the fun of it. We're going to design an improved medium aircraft. No. No. Okay. Okay, I can still put 2 modules and a tactical bomber right here. Okay. You'll notice that the naval aircraft designer is not applying to this plane. And if you're familiar with Hearts of Iron 4, you know that the aircraft designer forces you to put this here in the first slot, even if you want this plane to be a naval bomber for some reason. So the designer does not recognize it as a naval bomber, even though I've got tons and tons of torpedoes on it, which means it cannot benefit from that right now. Okay, let's check large airframes. I'm going to guess that I can make a large airframe with that gets the bonus from the naval air designer. Yep. No? No, it's not impacting it at all. Okay. How about if it's a flying boat? No. Nope, not impacting it. Hold on. Naval bomber, carrier fighter, and carrier fighter and carrier close air support. That doesn't make any. Paradox, we're gonna have to have a word. This is weird that the naval aircraft designer that boosts naval attack doesn't apply to aircraft that mount 50,000 torpedoes on them. Like, why even have it then? Let's add that to the bad aircraft design counter, because that's a bad, right now that's a terrible idea for an aircraft. unless Paradox is going to change it. Again, Meos might happen, or are going to happen, but we don't know what's going to happen with them. And I think I don't remember, but I think Meos are part of the paid content, so I don't know how that's going to impact people who have certain DLC and don't have certain DLC. If that's the case, so let's hold on. Let's sort of sum up where we're at so far. Heavy machine gun fighters with a range of around 900 seem to be the right answer. 900 kilometer range gives you enough range to cover air regions like this, like Benelux, like Western Germany and Northwestern Germany. You may not have 100% coverage on some of these weirder shaped air regions, but as we saw, 900 kilometer range is pretty darn good. But that necessitates going with heavy machine guns as our weapon of choice, because we need to add drop tanks, we need to add extra fuel tanks, and we need to add at least some armor plates in order to make the plane functional. This gives the plane almost its entire weight budget taken care of. It does not allow for a lot of wiggle room in design. The heavy machine gun looks like it has, in the summer beta, the best compromise between air attack and weight. We saw light machine guns early in the stream on aircraft were just terrible. We saw cannons were largely terrible. The one thing that we saw that was close to what you could do with a heavy machine gun light fighter was a heavy machine gun heavy fighter with 2 engines and lots of extra heavy machine guns. But even that wasn't quite better on a cost basis than the heavy machine gun light fighter. And because of the range nerfs, that heavy machine gun heavy fighter ended up having a range that wasn't hardly any better than the light fighter we're talking about now. So it looks like, at the moment, even with all these changes, that at the 1940 tech level, if you're not going to use this designer, if you're just going to use like other designers, your best bet for naval strike are going to be armor-piercing bombs with a bomb bay. It looks like you're going to, if you have access to the naval aircraft designer for some reason, torpedoes are a better option on your light airframes. You want heavy machine gun fighters, and in terms of deterring strategic attack, you don't need cannons because we don't get any more benefit on the fighters by mounting cannons on them. Heavy machine gun planes were ripping apart Lancasters and tactical bombers sent to strategically bomb France. They ripped them to shreds. It was terrible. It was horrible. Now, if you'll just give me 1 second, I want to check something because I want to see. Nope, that's not what I want to look at. Nope, that's not what I want to. Nope, that's not it. I'm trying to get to my web browser, folks. It's buried in 30 different screens. I want to check and see if the discussion of Meos is going to shed any light on this, because I don't remember it shedding any light. But let's see what we've got. Nope, that's a JPEG. Damn it. And Norway. Denmark. Special Forces, the economy, division structure, conclusion. Equipment presets, Special Forces, Denmark. Okay, that's not very helpful. We're gonna have to. Yeah, this. There's some changes coming, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to impact things. And if we're looking at that, there may be some other factors, some other. They haven't talked about all the features yet, so we might be missing a bunch of stuff. We might be missing a bunch of stuff. It looks, even though this is the summer beta, it looks like it's like, because we don't know all the things that are going to happen with. We don't know all the things that are going to happen with the upcoming expansion, Arms Against Tyranny. Maybe there's things I don't understand that are about to happen. But regardless of that, I think we've had a productive evening of testing aircraft. I don't have a whole lot else I could do right now. I'm actually very surprised that heavy machine gun fighters ended up being the best in every single situation. I have to think about that some more later. But until next week, same time, same channel, y'all have fun, and I will see you guys next week. My goal is to continue to do streaming at 6:30 on Mondays, 6:30 p.m. my time. That was 2.5 hours ago. Sort of stream for a couple hours until things get out of hand, like they've kind of gotten out of hand here with what's going on with Bombers. But until next week, folks, thanks for staying here with me, and I'll